Hi, everybody. Well, my girlfriend emailed me from Texas last night and said it was so hot that she had to put on her air conditioning. Trust me, it's not hot here. It says 18 out, but I don't know. It feels colder than that. But it could be because we had a couple of warm days, so most of us got hopeful that spring was finally here. But it's going to be a big week with anticipating storms on the northeast coast. And that's us on Cape Cod. So anyway, my little keto friends, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto under 20 carbs. How are you doing with that? I'm doing pretty good. And so thank you, Build a Better Body, for the tip on going to an Hispanic grocery store. We don't have one here in the Cape, but we do have a Brazilian one. I will go and look for all kinds of oils and lard and things like that that perhaps the regular stores don't have for the mainstream shoppers. And I'm hopeful for that because Butter Bob, I saw somebody frying chicken and it's a Butter Bob recipe. And isn't it great to see he's back now? Yeah, so I like that. So, do you ever sabotage your food plan? Do you have the best intentions and then let something drop and cave in the moment without giving it a thought? Or are you one of those no matter what people? I'm probably one of those no matter what people. It's keto, it's tracked, there's no such thing as caving. I don't do that because I put enough fat in what I'm having. I'm an intermittent fat faster, meaning that I have bulletproof coffees and a fatty tea, and I go 24 hours between meals, perhaps 4 to 5 days a week. The other days I do allow a first meal. Yesterday I was starving from 8 a.m. on, and so at 10 o'clock I had leftover crack slaw as my first meal, and it worked out okay. And I had fathead pizza for dinner. Oh, you talk about my two favorite foods in one day. It doesn't get better than that. So today is an interesting day. We're having bison ribeye steaks, and in lieu of the beef steaks. So I'm looking forward to that. But I digress again. Back to the sabotage. Do you find yourself reaching for something and having it because you are sick, hungry, hangry, lonely, tired, or stressed the freak out? Sometimes it's just being stressed, right? It's not taking care of yourself first with what you eat, and it's doing for others perhaps too much, and so you sabotage because you have put yourself at the bottom of the list of people that need your care. So when you're in the hospital with a heart episode, who's going to take care of them? Taking care of yourself is still the most important thing. And for me, self-care and tracking are two things that I just simply can't go without. Walking is something that I prefer not to go without, but today it didn't happen, hence the podcast that's going on here. And so I don't recommend sabotaging yourself because it's you in the end, and then you will get discouraged. And if you get discouraged, suddenly the halo top starts looking good, the pint of, and, that's a frozen treat that I've seen a lot of people include in their food plan, along with dark chocolate, along with a barrage of keto desserts and the keto breads. Sure, you can have them, but does it kind of keep the food addiction going, or do you consider them a lifesaver and they keep you keto clean? For some people, they can get it. They can have those things, make those things, get away with those things, and have them as a random, rare, and appropriate treat. Somebody like me, if I had something one day, I would be jonesing for it the next day because it's reminiscent of my former standard American diet food plan, which included treat after treat after treat. And so there was always a daily treat. Then there became a mealtime treat. And then it just got ridiculous. So there were no days off, even as I was inching towards keto under 20. When I was having low carb, high fat, I would have a fat bomb 3 times a week. What happened, do you think, on the other 4 days? Yeah, of course. I was fighting the urge to have that 4th fat bomb on the nights that I didn't have it. And so I wasn't really listening to my body still. I was still being ruled by my head. And I can be ruled by my head, but still being ruled by my head because I never had a break. And I never let the good thing, leptin, really tell me I was full. I was ruled by my ghrelin. If it's a hormone rule, I was ruled by my ghrelin telling me, hungry, you're always hungry. What's next? Come on, feed me. Yeah, that's my Ms. Slick. And so it took me realizing that if I've got enough fat going around in my system, then I am satiated and I can go till the next meal. It works. On those days that I do have something as a first meal, it's certainly lighter, but with fat enough to carry me. And I'm able to listen to my body now. It was growling uncontrollably. But I did not sabotage by having something that wasn't keto friendly. And that's the place I'm hoping most of you will get eventually, to a keto friendly place. So if you absolutely are positively hungry, then having that, I'd hate to say handful of macadamia nuts, because that could be 1,000 calories if you've got a big hand, a weighed and measured amount of maybe nuts, maybe a nut butter, maybe even just a tablespoon of coconut oil or something to get into your bloodstream, so you can just put away the jonesing and don't sabotage with something you're not supposed to have, like a piece of dark chocolate. Sure, it's allowed for some, but I'm going to aim for what Michelle Rock says. And she says that you don't have keto treats, you don't have the chocolate, you don't have things like that until you're on maintenance. And then it's a whole different ballgame, because you can treat yourself to something, because why not? You've made it to that goal that you had. But if you're on your way down and you're working it, sisters and brothers, you don't want to start having those treats. If you're an addict, especially like me, because your brain starts getting lit up with the next. Why can't we have more of the thing that you just had? We can do it. It will fit. That doesn't matter. Just because it fits doesn't mean that you should be having it. You don't want to self-sabotage your plans. And you know the difference. When you're having that square or 2 of chocolate every single night before you go to bed, that's a little bit of a self-sabotage. If you start cutting back, you're going to jones on the days or nights that you don't have that keto treat. But be careful, because if you're working on your head part along with your tummy, you've got a lot of ways to go. Like the nighttime eating, like the snacking, things like that. You know that eventually you want to get to the place where you're eating enough to go from dinner till the first meal of the day the next day. If you're getting enough fat in your diet, you can go from meal 1 to meal 2 to maybe meal 3 with no snacks or nighttime eating. I'm hoping that these are things that are goals for you eventually. Sure, things are difficult to do. Look at that sun. Sure, things are difficult to do right out of the box, and nobody's telling you you have to do this. This is a self-discovery food plan. And so what you learn about yourself is unique and not like anybody else. And so that's why I encourage you to pay big attention to things that happen for you. And at some point in my early keto journey, I did keep notes, like with a date, on January 2nd, I no longer had or required or wanted to have a something, just so I can see in my little journey. I haven't done it for a few months, so, but I did it first, and it did make a difference. And also, I suggest measuring, taking your measurements, and don't rely on the scale as your number one tool for things, because there will be times that you think you're in a plateau, but really your body is just leaning out. It's just getting firmer and stronger. You're not losing muscle mass. You could even be gaining muscle mass, even if you're not a gym rat. It's amazing. So try not to self-sabotage because it could set you back. No grains, no sugars, no fruits. And just think of all the other stuff that you can have. Oh, I love this food plan. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Look out for that saboteur. Bye-bye for now.